Black leadership is a complete fraud. There hasn't been a successful black leader since Martin Luther King was shot. The people we have now nationally as quote unquote black leaders are scoundrels, tax cheats, crooks who will never be called on that because they're black. Al Sharpton is a giant tax cheat. He should theoretically be in jail right now. Jesse Jackson, another crook who really just likes to play the race baiting card, has nothing to do with equality or anything like that. He actually wants black people to have more rights than anyone else. He's a black supremacist. Same thing with Sharpton. But I really don't want to talk too much about nationally black leaders. I want to talk about black leaders on a local level. Anytime you have black people in an organization in any kind of position of power, they usually get the position of power through lies and deceit, where they'll tell whoever's in charge anything they want to hear, tell them about how great they are, how they're going to change the organization. Then literally the second they get into that position of power, they do whatever the hell they want, and they don't worry about any of the consequences because they'll never be fired. Once you're at a position of power and you're black, you cannot be fired. And the reason is because you can just cry racism if anyone tries to fire you. This literally happens in almost any organization across the country. No matter how shitty a person's doing their job, they can always cry racism and try to get out of any kind of responsibility that comes with their position. Now, if you're just a white person and you have a position like that, you're held accountable. And that's generally why, if you're white and in a position like that, you do a better job. Because you're not just, oh, I just got this job, I don't have to fucking do anything. There's actually a motivation for you to do a good job, unlike someone who's black. I'm not saying all black people are invincible when they get to work, but if you live in an area and that's mostly white and you're black and you get into a position of power, all you have to do is cry racism because the people around you are white and you're black. It's reverse racism at its finest, and it seems to happen a lot. Now, I work for an organization where the head of my department is black. She doesn't do her job at all. We never have the supplies we need for our department. She doesn't check up on anybody. She doesn't try at all to be any kind of leader. She doesn't listen to other people's opinions. She's generally ignorant towards everybody. And the only reason that she gets away with stuff like that is because she's black. Even though our human resources department has black people in it, there's enough white people in there to cry racism if they ever tried to fire her. And her boss, who is white, works a lot harder than she does and is trying to hold her accountable, but can only go so far because of reverse racism. Now, I wish there was a system in place where we didn't have the political correctness we have nowadays, and if someone is black, white, whatever, in a position of leadership, they should be held accountable no matter who they are. But because of political correctness and reverse racism, and liberals who are so afraid of being racist they'll never do anything, we have black people in positions of power who actually should be fired, shouldn't even work there, and shouldn't nationally be considered black leaders. It actually hurts other black people who want to advance, because after a while you have black people in positions of power and you can't get rid of them. So why would you want to hire more black people for positions of power, any kind of managerial position, anything? Why would you want to hire a black person? Because you'd be afraid of a lawsuit if you ever tried to remove them from whatever position they're in. So actually, in the end, black people are cutting their own throats by crying racism anytime anyone wants to hold them accountable whenever they're at work or any kind of leadership position.